Out of money, Meghan and Harry begged protection from Taylor Swift for their fake royal tour in New York City. Despite their desperate efforts, William and Kate give them a real slap in terms of privacy and true royalty. Harry and Meghan have been caught red-handed that they protected by bodyguards of the singer Taylor Swift. And today, Daily Mail has exclusively revealed that due to the high cost, Sussex was forced to ask the American singer for this tour. They have to use other people's security, a source said. Can't afford their own. The guard, who is a former NYPD, drove that pair that betrayed the royal family with another man in his 40s and shorter, who was also seen defending Swift last year. Meanwhile, William, Kate, and the kids were pictured yesterday eating burgers and chips at a public picnic table. There surely was security there, but they made themselves inconspicuous. There were no visible guards, so only discreet. That is, second and third in line for the throne. What makes Harry and Meghan feel they need that level of security? Back to the news. The fact that they can't pay for their own security suggests that the mega deals with Netflix and Spotify are questionable. The source continued, "We have seen that they're having some minor troubles. The first is to brag about expensive items, wear luxurious clothes while preaching about poverty and vaccine justice. But here's the heartbreaking reality. Harry had to use his royal connections to contact Taylor Swift to borrow her security team for this show. The two have known each other from before." But the funny part about all of this is that their trip was not covered by any major media news outlets in the USA or Canada. They are not A-list people. They are not given the time of day in America unless you count the Oprah interview, which was because of how they acted, the decisions they made, the lies they've told, and the appalling behavior they've displayed towards their families. It's only hurt their image and displayed them as selfish idiots that they are for the whole world to see. For all intents and purposes, they've been doing looks like a royal tour. The setup, the logistics, the optics, etc. But what actually happened was the principal photography of a branding exercise. You also had a pair of celebrities cosplaying and LARPing as VIPs. They commemorated the anniversary of 9/11 with the mayor and the governor of New York. They lecture and promote vaccine equity. They fly across country promoting childhood literacy. They met with local businesses and committed funds. They had meetings in the World Health Organization and the UN. Someone needs to tell them that Joe and Jill Biden already have the job. They were accompanied with their own photographers and reportedly a camera crew as well. What you do gather is to gather enough footage and pictures of them both appearing super duper important. Hopefully you get some reactions which can be used to convey awe and admiration for the Sussexes, e.g. the mayor of New York throwing them an admiring glance, a school kid looking at them with sheer awe. It would be even better if some people cried because they were overwhelmed to be in their presence and at their generosity, or have actual VIP people have a few minutes to spare in their schedules to stand in for a picture. You have Meghan dressed in power outfits channeling Michelle Obama. You have her cosplaying as Angelina Jolie at the UN. In post-production, you have them conjure up word salads about how they are authentic, humanitarian, and compassionate. You deliver it with a nauseatingly syrupy narration, and all told, you have a very expensive final product to market their Archwell brand. In reality, you just have a couple of increasingly irrelevant people in a crowded field of wannabe influencers. Engaging in a last throw of the dice is chasing a profile that simply is unattainable given their talent, funding, reputation, and status. I remember reading about William and Kate's 3-day visit to New York in 2014, comparing it to Harry and Meghan's 3-day visit, showing the stark disparity in their status and pulling power. William and Kate also stayed at the Carlisle Hotel. Kate visited a child development center in Harlem. They both attended the British Council's residence. They attended a basketball game to commemorate a partnership with the Royal Foundation and the NBA. They attended a reception promoting cultural services. They visited the 9/11 Memorial and Museum. They attended an anniversary dinner at the Met Museum of Art. However, to finish, there was a quick jaunt to D.C., where William met with Obama at the White House. Ahead of a state meeting with a future head of state, it's a level of pulling power and power clout which Prince Harry will simply never have. The Cambridges certainly didn't need to bring their own photographers and camera crew. Apparently, this is the era of visibility Omid Scobid referred to, and they'll be doing more tours, and not only in the U.S. It just seems absurd for him to go to all that trouble to move across the world, to destroy his popularity, to alienate and burn bridges with his entire family, just so he can do a less prestigious version of what he did before and which he took for granted. There's also the pressure of doing it all out there now financially in their independent pockets. Not exactly cutting the cloth by going all in. It really boggles the mind. They are trying so hard to stay relevant, but unfortunately, people don't trust her and don't respect her and don't want anything to do with her or him. There were no crowds either, just a couple of lone photographers, probably organized by them like a cemetery shoot, and it's really cringing. Their charity, which gets 85%, is failing, so much so that you can't even look up the figures because it doesn't reach the threshold, and her 40th birthday PR grab only got 200 shares globally. Any one of us could easily get more. They are official flops. Also, I don't recall Harry and Meghan getting vaccinated themselves. Their PR would have shouted from the rooftops, yet they've made a cross-country trip to urge worldwide vaccine access to the COVID vaccine. They don't actually urge to get the vaccine. They just urge access to the vaccine. But having access doesn't eradicate the risk. You actually have to get the jab. Those two are very confusing. This whole thing was just another Sussex spectacle. When I see successful motivational speakers in conferences, there is one idiom that should be followed, and that is know your audience. Meghan was visiting young school children. There was no need to wear fabulous brands of clothing or be dripping in thousands of jewels. Secondly, the age group of the children she read to is much older than the age level of the book itself. Harry appeared to grab a child by the back of his shirt and forcibly pull him away. That is a disconnect between what the couple says and what they actually do. It's what differentiates them from other royals who have staff and advisors for good reason. They advise them, and importantly, they also listen to and follow that advice. They have so many engagements to do that advice and briefings that they're actively welcomed. It just comes across as both Meghan and Harry doing what they want in terms of the tone deafness that you refer to. They know best, they are right, they won't listen, etc. They have an agenda and will use anyone or anything to reach it. They want to be a part of the elite crowd of do-gooders who are of uber wealth. And while they seem to live well now, they better hope something sticks for them to make money. How do they justify private jets, inappropriate clothing for charity visits? So clueless. And why do they need sympathy? I don't have sympathy for people who live in million-dollar houses with 16 bathrooms, have million-dollar wardrobes, drive big cars, have planes at their disposal. My sympathy is for people who don't have enough to eat, have to go to walk everywhere they go, don't have heat in the winter, have family members dying from COVID. Megsy and Howdy Doody don't need my sympathy. They need a good psychiatrist and a good accountant. It's no wonder they had to step down.